The evening sun poured through the lace curtains, painting golden patterns on the floor. I sat on my old rocking chair, the same one my husband bought me 40 years ago, when life was simpler, when we had dreams, but not much else. The air smelled of jasmine and tea. From the window, I could see my son, Adil, standing near his car, talking on the phone. His voice was calm, but determined. He had become the man his father always hoped he'd be. Sometimes, I still can't believe how far he's come. I remember the days when we had just one small shop at the corner of the old bazaar, Rehman Furniture Works. My husband, Rehman, worked from dawn till dusk, carving wood with his own hands, while I kept the accounts in a small notebook. Adil was a little boy then, curious, restless, always asking questions. He would sit beside his father, watching the sawdust fall like snowflakes, and say, "Abba, one day I'll make this shop big enough for the whole city to know our name." Rehman would smile and say, "Dream, my son, but dream with your eyes open." Years passed. Rehman left us too soon, and the world suddenly felt heavier on my shoulders. Adil had just finished college when he took charge of the shop. I still remember the first day he wore his father's old apron. It hung loose on his shoulders, but there was fire in his eyes. He said, "Ami, we'll not only keep Abba's name alive, we'll make it proud." And he did. He began small, fixing old furniture, designing simple wooden pieces. He worked late nights, sometimes sleeping on the shop floor, covered in sawdust. There were times we barely made enough to pay the rent, but he never gave up. He kept learning about business, marketing, design. I used to tease him, saying, "Beta, you've turned half carpenter, half computer man." He'd laugh and say, "That's how we grow, Ami." Then came the day everything changed. A journalist from a lifestyle magazine saw his furniture at an exhibition and wrote about it. Orders started pouring in. People began to recognize his work, the smooth polish, the elegant finish, the honesty in every piece. Rehman Furniture Works was no longer just a shop. It had become a name people trusted. Adil expanded, first to another city, then another. I watched him juggle meetings, phone calls, suppliers, and designs. He built a small factory, hired workers, trained young carpenters, and treated them like family. Sometimes I'd tell him, "Don't tire yourself too much, Beta." He'd kiss my hand and say, "Ummi, I'm just watering the tree Abba planted." There were difficult days too. Orders delayed, machines breaking, dishonest partners, and markets that didn't always favor small businesses. I remember one evening, he came home exhausted, his eyes dull. He said, "Maybe I should stop, Ummi. Maybe I'm dreaming too big." When your father started with one hammer and one dream, people laughed at him too. But he didn't stop. Dreams are like wood. You have to carve them slowly before they take shape. He smiled then, the same smile his father had, and went back to work the next day. Now, all these years later, his company has 3 showrooms across Pakistan and an online store that sends furniture to Dubai and London. Sometimes, when he brings me to his office, I look at the polished floors, the neatly dressed staff, the air conditioning humming softly, and I can still see the old workshop in my mind. Dusty floors, creaking fans, and my husband wiping sweat off his brow with a smile. The logo hasn't changed though. It's still the same name, Rehman Furniture Works. Every time I see it, my eyes fill with tears. My husband's name glowing on signboards across cities. Carried forward by our son, the deal often says he wants to expand further. Maybe open branches in Europe or the Middle East. I tell him, "Go ahead, Beta. Just don't forget your roots." He laughs and replies, "Ummi, you are my roots." Last week, he brought his children to the workshop. the same old one we still keep as a memory. The boys ran around, amazed at the smell of wood, the hum of machines. Adil placed his hand on his eldest son's shoulder and said, "This is where it all began, my dear. Your grandfather started this with his hands, and I built on it with my heart. One day it will be yours to grow further." As I watched them, my heart swelled with quiet pride. Generations connected by wood, sweat, and dreams. People often say success is measured in money or fame, but for me, it's measured in moments like these, when I see my son not just running a business, but carrying forward a legacy with love and integrity. Now, as the sun sets beyond the old mango tree, I sip my tea and whisper a prayer for him. I pray that his business grows not only in size, but in goodness, that he continues to treat his workers with kindness and his customers with honesty, that he never forgets the values his father taught him: patience, humility, and faith. Because in the end, every great business begins not with money, but with a mother's blessing and a dream that refuses to die. I look at Adil once more, tall, confident, talking about shipments and sales, and I smile to myself. The seeds we planted years ago have grown into a forest of dreams.